to Barks to Basics with Jamie Diaz. I'm Jamie Diaz, and I'm here with Amanda Kreiner, who is one of my trainers at Dynamite Dog Training and Lucky Dog Training Club, and she's also the director of the Service and Therapy Dog Program. So a lot of times we'll do informational things, which this is informational, but we want to talk about non-compliant clients.
Yeah.
So non-compliant. So there is a flip side to this. So if you are listening and you're not compliant client, dog training compliant, we have a flip side to this. But we're going to start off. I think we have a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of complaints. But we do get some complaints on.
I feel like most of the complaints, if we do get them, it would be this.
It would be this, right?
Yeah.
So we have dog training schools. They bring their dogs to us to train, and they spend money because it's not cheap, right?
Yeah.
They spend money, and they'll say, I actually just got a review. I should bring it up. But we spent $1,500, and the dog is great. The owner is very involved. Trainers are great. This is a great place for this, but not for training. And I have to say that, training is not only with us, but it's also with the owners at home. So that being said, I have changed, and I had just some notes on my phone because I didn't print them out today. I'm not looking at text. I just, so you know, we have this is so rude. So it used to be like I used to just do private sessions. We do an hour private, an hour a week. You're supposed to practice for the week. And the next week that we come, you're supposed to have mastered those skills and practice.
And be able to progress.
And then we progress. So I have a few stories like in my history of dog training, but one of them that if they're listening, they probably know who they are. I'm not going to mention the dog's name because I still remember the dog's name. And this was like years ago before I had a training set. So it was probably 12, 13 years ago. It was a cute Rottweiler puppy. And Rottweiler puppies are not small puppies. Nope. She did amazing when I was there. One of her issues was jumping when people came in. So she would come in, she'd jump all over me. I probably still have like scars, like it was bad. So I went over the door training, like in my head, right? I'm a great trainer. I got the dog to do all of these things. So door training is sending your dog, go to your place and stay when guests come in. That's a really hard skill.
That's tough.
For non-training people to master, which I didn't think then. I was like, it's easy. Place is easy. Stay is easy. Why can't this happen? Practice. I'd come back the next week. The dog was still jumping. I'm like, guys, you really have to like practice this skill. This is going to be really important for you to practice. So I came back the next week. The dog, I have to say, I have a lot of patience for, maybe not in my household, but outside and in my profession. I have a lot of patience for people and for their dogs. And the dog jumped all over me, scratched me. I think I was bleeding. And I like yelled at them. And I was like, you guys need to practice this. This is like, she's jumping. She's like, and I was like so pissed at them for not practicing. And I left there. To be honest, I think that might have been the last session. I did not see them again. And not right away, but probably years later, I realized that sometimes people are not trying to be non-compliant. They just don't have the skill set. They're busy. This was like a young couple. They were like bartending at the Hard Rock. Like the last thing that they probably were thinking is like practicing repetitions with their dog. Right. So I think non-compliant has a few different meanings, but I know you probably have stories too of, let's first touch on actually non-compliant, right? The clients think that we have a magic wand, and I love all my clients.
Yeah, we do love you.
We love you
You're
guys.
great.
And if you do get into dog training for the dogs, you're in the wrong business because the people pay the bills. So the people pay for the dog, and you have to connect with the people.
And if the people don't like you, like, I'm not going to let you train my dog if I don't like you.
Yeah,
you
true.
know, you've got to be friendly and nice.
True.
And kind of a people person a little bit.
Yes, but a lot of it, I feel like.
Really a lot
but
of it, yeah.
Some clients think we have a magic wand.
Right.
And some clients will think, which I get, if I spend $1,500 for you to train my dog, I want my dog at a certain point.
Right.
But when you're only going, now we have a different thing because we have day training, but when you're only going an hour a week, it's really hard to have that happen if the client's not practicing.
Or even with day training, like if you're working on something specific or just early obedience, if you're not practicing even like 2 to 5 minutes a day, it's going to be hard for the dog to retain that information.
That's all that I tell people
That's
to
it.
practice.
That's it.
Minutes.
Set a timer. That's it.
Yes. I am writing a book right now. And one of the things that I wrote in there is practice 2 minutes a day. And if you can't practice 2 minutes a day with your dog, get a cat. Because
yikes.
Then don't have a dog because
True.
that's all it takes is 2 minutes. But I know that you have certain specific things with your clients because a lot of your clients are working towards service dog. Mm-hmm. So service dogs are definitely more vigorous training, right? So you would expect these clients that they know that and they have to practice to get where they're at. So what are some either stories from those or examples of, because it does make you feel like you failed as a trainer. Like I know I'm a good trainer.
Yeah.
And I have solutions for this too of people that don't want to practice. But I know I'm a good trainer and sometimes I'm like, man, like if you would just listen to me.
It's discouraging sometimes.
Yes.
Because it's what we do for a living. It's reinforcing for me to train a dog a behavior and the dog do it. I'm like, heck yeah, I did it. Like it's so fun for us that when we're working so hard, even if it's like day training, every day that dog comes in, we're working on, say, jumping. To get a dog to stop jumping is kind of an easy task. It's really, we don't ask trainer or owners to do much in that. It's drop the treats on the ground or, your dog comes in, don't give them a bunch of attention. Just ignore them until they're calm and then you can give them attention. And that I feel like that's our number one thing, like with day training. Clients are coming back all the time and they're like, my dog's still jumping. But then when they're picking their dog up from day training, it's, oh my gosh, hi Max. And Max is doing backflips around the room and no one can get his attention because they're not utilizing this throughout their day. Just simple little things that you can do. So yeah, they may not jump on us anymore in day training because we're consistently doing the work with them, but you have to give that work at home as well. And especially when it comes to little things like that with jumping because they're going to get excited. They're little dogs. They're trying to get to your hands. They're used to treats being there. But if you're not utilizing that 24/7, not giving them attention, dropping treats on the ground so they're focusing elsewhere, they're redirected, your dog is going to jump for the rest of their life.
I think that's a perfect example of people picking up. And it's not about you're choosing to be non-compliant and I'm not practicing, but you're not practicing in your everyday life. So pickup is a perfect example, and some of us are guilty of it too, of, it's exhausting sometimes to practice the rules all the time.
Yeah.
But if clients can just practice that little bit, like when you see your dog, unless you don't care. If you don't care that your dog jumps all over you or jumps all over people, it's funny, I put a post on social media about jumping when you come home. I cannot tell you how many people wrote a comment about, that's all. We love our dogs. I am not going to not say hello to my dog, and I love him, and this is our dog. Why are you trying to take our love? I was like, guys, you like your dog jumping? I don't care.
Do it. It's not my problem if you get jumped on all the time.
Do it. But
don't get mad
if you're
at me.
a client that's hiring a trainer, and this is an issue you want fixed, and it's not being fixed, part of the reason is what you're doing at home or not doing at home.
Correct. It happens a lot with, I want to say, in-home training. So I'm working with
oh my God!
You're
rude
sorry.
I
Today.
was trying to
Silence your phone.
I was trying to shut off my watch.
Gosh.
And I buzzed
See what I
my
have
phone.
to deal with.
By the way,
people?
I have to tell Apple Watch, if I did not have that buzzer on my phone to find my phone, I would never.
All day long I lose my phone at work.
I lose my phone about 40 times a day. So go ahead.
Same. But yeah, so in-home training, we will we will drive out to your house. We will work with you with anything your dog is doing in the home. It's a really good option if you're not great at being compliant at home or being consistent at home training. It's a really good option for you to do is have a trainer come to your house. But it's, again, you said, you train them for an hour. You see them the next week. You expect, if not every day, every couple of days, maybe just once, at least try to work with your dog, right? But you go back and, hey, have you worked on the loose leash walking out there? Or have you, worked on place or drop me treats when you walk in the house? Well, we're not really great at it. I'm like, okay, then we'll work on the same thing today. And then you can literally see the look on their faces of, oh, we're doing the same thing. Like, that's what I'm paying for. It's like, I mean, if that's what you want to work on, that's what you're paying for. If you don't, especially with like in-homes, it's more expensive for us to come to your house, right? It's more convenient for you, but you're paying more. You have to do some sort of work, right? Like once a week is not going to do anything. It's like, I want to lose weight, right? So I'm on a diet, cutting out ice cream, I'm trying to eat healthy, but I only do it one day. Am I going to have any results? Or I only eat healthy at home, but when I go to work, I pig out? Are you going to get any results that you want? No. And it's probably going to get worse even, right?
But I will say what I've learned is, okay, so we have two different issues. We have the parents, the doggy parents that expect miracles. We tell them what to do. They do nothing. Got it. We know where the answer is there. But I don't know, again, we love our clients. This is really just, I'm not good at a lot of things. I know what I'm not good at.
I'm not agreeing, but like I'm saying, yeah. Like, no, Jamie, you're not good at a lot of things.
Most things, but there are some things I'm sure I'm not good at. But I'm sure you have been with a client that sometimes it's excruciating to watch them try and do these skills with their dog and they don't have that skill set. Like it's like me trying, I mean, there's many things that let's put organization. Let's bring it like super down, like organization, like the dishwasher, loading the dishwasher. Yeah. I will never load it nicely. My idea to put things away in the dishwasher and the cabinets or to jam it in wherever it has a space in. And my husband will be he is a very good organizer. He's a very good organizer. I can try my best to be organized in that way, but it's probably never going to happen. I might improve a little bit, but I just don't have that in me to do it that way. Right. So there are some people that they just don't have it in them, which is why we hire everybody else to do think of how many people you hire. You have a bug guy, you have a lawn guy, you have a this, literally we hire people for everything because we're not good at certain skills or we don't have the time to do those. So I've also realized that some clients are not trying to be uncompliant.
I don't think anyone tries to. I mean, I hope. Like, I don't think anyone tries to, like, not help their dog or not. I just think it's not something that, like, you hired us for a reason. And if it's not something that's at the top of, like, your to-do list at home, then I get their thinking. Like, I do. I get it. Like, but it's just if you want to see results, you got to do something.
You got to do something. But I think it comes to also is, and we've figured this out with the day training program. So people used to say, you drop off the dogs. It's doggy school. You drop them off. We train them skills. They have the skills. We have videos of them doing the skills. And then you're supposed to reinforce at home. Now, a lot of clients in the beginning, obviously not now, but in the beginning were skeptical that they have to do everything, right? They have to, your dog is not going to learn unless you're teaching them. Well, it's great he does it for you, but why not, he doesn't do it for me. The truth is that we found from the data and all the dogs that we've trained is it does transfer over, but you just have to follow those rules. Implement those rules at home, like the jumping. We will get him not jumping on us all day long. But as soon as he sees you,
and you allow it,
if you don't follow those rules and that's something you want to take care of, it's not going to happen. So I've kind of changed my role as a trainer with like a lot of my clients because I have the clients that are just don't have the skill set. And that's like, fine. I don't have the skill set to teach piano. I don't have the skill set to teach gymnastics. So I don't know why we always think like owners, just because you have a dog doesn't mean you have a skill set to train the dog. So I think there's different options that we can give people that they can still get their dog trained and them dogs still listening to them. So One of them is, like we said, dog training school. There's not a lot of great schools everywhere. I hope there is. I don't know parts of the country, but if you find a good school that you can get videos of what they're doing, do all of that stuff, and then you just implement it at home, you know exactly what to do at home, that's a great way.
Yeah.
Another great way, we were talking about in-homes. So I sometimes said, can we split the hour into 2 half hours, and I come and just do all the work. And at the end of the session, I'll show you what you have to practice, which I do want to we'll get to that in a little bit, the tasks and stuff like that for the service dog. But so we can do it that way. I am not, besides puppies, if it's with me, I do not trust a lot of these board and train places. So we can kind of touch on this a little bit. For people that are not great trainers for their own dog and they have all these issues, and you know yourself, like, right, you know, I'm not going to do it. I know I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to practice. My dog is going to be doing this forever. I need a quick solution. Let me look for a board and train. Oh my gosh. I heard my neighbor, they sent their dog away for 3 weeks or a month. They came back perfect. Okay. A couple of things with that. One, I would be out of business, because if there were truly places like that worked, you would put down the money for a month of training, and everybody would be doing it, right? So that's not what happens. If you're not the kind of client that is compliant with training your own dog, and you do want to get them help, really steer away from the board and trains. Not because they cannot learn in that way and transfer it a little bit when they come back, but it's because bad things happen at a lot of board and train places. So they'll use aversive techniques. They'll shock your dog, use prong collar to get that behavior when that's not what you should be doing. You really can psychologically damage your dog by the time they come back. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever trained any dogs that come back from these places after. We get them a lot after the time. So it actually is a lot more work even after they come back. It lasts for a week or two, because they're kind of still scared and
That's what I was gonna say. Most dogs that we've gotten, we notice more fear in them, and it's because of the aversives. And because if they don't do something, they're they honestly, if you walk up and they expect you to do, they cower a little bit. Yeah, you know. So even though I think a lot of aversive training is used in those situations too, but I also think when they're left somewhere, a lot of bad habits for the dogs, aside from the aversive training, can be picked up too. So some dogs can come back with dog reactivity, or not wanting to go in the crate, or guarding because they're around other dogs. And sometimes, unfortunately, I feel like if they're there to work on certain issues, the other smaller ones that we would normally focus on, like day training, like the guarding or things like that, are overlooked. So sometimes they come back with more issues behaviorally or even obedience-wise than before they even left.
Yeah, and those board and train places are usually very, very, very expensive.
Oh, yeah.
The only board and trains that I do personally are puppies, because I have a great house for puppies. I have a dog that's great with puppies. I have kids that are great with puppies. So, and then they go to school we have a great program for puppies. They're especially puppies, they're so delicate with everything in their environment that if you have somebody that is obedience, for everybody out there that has trouble with your obedience, is the easiest part of training.
Oh, yeah.
That is we can teach your dog anything easily. Yep. If they have no behavioral issues, if they're not reactive, if they're not scared, if they're not fearful, because that takes precedence over any learning. Yeah. So,
and a lot of people think that obedience is a way to get over that. So a lot of training places will be like, okay, well, my dog is scared by this, I'm going to make them do obedience, so they're not thinking about it. When that's 10 steps ahead of where you actually need to be. So it goes in not just the compliant part of why people are sitting there, but making sure you're getting the right kind of stuff when you're going into that, the right kind of training.
Yes. And I do love owners. Listen, I also have had the owners that are so compliant that they are in it. They're in it to win it. They practice with their dogs. They're doing this. They want to do obedience. I love that, but reality is that's not the case. People get dogs, they want them to behave well. They want them to snuggle with them. They want them to be their companion, their partner, their best friend. They don't want to have to train them to get them to do that.
Right.
They just, would rather. So there are options for people out there that are non-compliant trainers for their own dog. I just would be really careful with the choices that you would make. Another option is a group class. Mm-hmm. So I will tell you my thoughts on that. I love group classes. We hold them. We host them. I love doing group classes. I love teaching group classes. But the fact of the matter is a lot of the issues, like, unless you're in my class, I'm kidding. I do have a class that's like jumping, this, that. But okay, my dog is jumping. He's stealing stuff. He's doing that. I'm going to take a basic obedience class.
Right.
That's not going to handle those issues, one. And if you do have a great class, they're on leash 4 to 6 feet away from you. Mm-hmm. I actually like doing obedience classes off leash. Mm-hmm. Totally taking the leashes off. Obviously, all the dogs get along. We've kind of like mastered seeing who can do what with that. And then have a real class of if your dog's going to come to you now they're off the leash.
And it's everyday things you're dealing with, not just obedience. Because if you're an owner and you just want to teach your dog obedience and you want to learn how to do the sit, learn how to do the loose leash walking, then I think group class is a good thing for you. Mm-hmm. But I think if you're doing it, like you said, expecting or counter surfing, things like that to be taken care of, you can't do that in a group class. Right. Those are your harder issues.
And I actually like people taking the group class after they let's do privates together. Let's do day training first for a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. Let's get some base. Mm-hmm. And then I would love for you to take this basic obedience class. So now your dog is not being a freak in the class, right? We know he's we know he's confident enough. I mean, I feel so bad for some owners. They really want to do the right thing for their dog and they're taking these classes. And their dog is just not fit for the class and's like a mess. So I do think clients try to be compliant a lot of the times. I just don't think it's in the right way, depending on your issue. So I would say if you're going to do nothing and group class is your only option, I think it's a great option. But I just also would like people to be realistic that that's not going to fix counter surfing.
Right.
It's not going to fix your dog jumping on guests. Different things like that would only be fixed in the home. One of the things that I would like to, because I feel like compliance is like number one in this topic, is, and you usually do most of the service dogs and therapy dogs, is for service dogs, what are some issues you've seen with non-compliant clients?
Yeah, so when you train a service dog, you're not going to, usually a lot of people, once they're trained, they're like, okay, I'm good to go. They don't continue training, right? Where continued training is just as important as continued education. So I do get a lot of clients that will come. They do their outings, and outings are public training sessions with us. You get to go out with a trainer. And then they get to the last phase of our program, which is your task training, where we're teaching them to do 3 different things that assist their owner in some way. Now, the owner's needed for that, right? So they're doing it to the owner, so the owner needs to be there. They also need to practice a little bit at home because it's not just me teaching them to do it. They also, I'm a relationship-based trainer is what I like to call it, because I think your relationship with your dog is going to say a lot about what you can and cannot do with them. So when it comes to service dog training, that's huge, right? So unfortunately, we do get clients that they come to me once or twice a week. I show them what to do. I say, okay, I work with them first by myself, just like you do with your in-homes. Mm-hmm. And then the last couple minutes, I'm showing them how to do it so they can get hands-on, because like you mentioned before, sometimes it's a little awkward watching some uncoordinated clients trying to do certain things.
And it's not their fault.
No.
Yeah.
Like, I always think like Zumba, when that used to be like a thing. You watch me trip over myself.
I would love to watch you.
Or like yoga. I was the girl once. And you can ask one of my best friends that kicked over the box in the back of the room when I had to lift my leg for some position. So I am also not good at a lot of things. But owners, when it comes to service dog task training, you have to be able to do it at home. And unfortunately, when it comes to being, you know, inconsistent is you're coming to me the next week with your dog and I'm having to work on the same thing over and over and over again. You're not progressing. You're not hitting your goals. And that's expensive. That's more training sessions you have to purchase if you're not willing to put the work in. I can't be at your house 24/7, 7 days a week.
I mean, do you see that? Do you see, because of the non-compliance, I feel like I keep turning my head and then I'm not in the microphone. So,
well, I mean,
I
dogs
do keep
passing
doing that.
outside.
Okay, sorry, guys. Do you find, or do you see people having to do that because they're not doing their stuff, that they have to buy another package and they have to buy another package? And
yeah, I think it just depends on their goals too. Our program is really, it's made to go with it's stress-free for the owners, as much as you want on your timeline. So there are some owners that they come back to me and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you're 10 step. I wasn't expecting to be able to work on this week. This is great. You're doing great at home. Mm-hmm. But then there's other things that, you know, other clients that struggle a little bit with that. So I think I was telling you earlier, a lot of my training that I do for, even if it's not service or therapy, when I do private sessions, when I do outings, I've kind of changed my style. Instead of me working directly with the dog, I'm coaching the owners through it. And I have a lot of the owners that I work with, they're like, and they make a joke out of it, but I know they're kind of like, gosh, I'm kind of nervous right now because they're like, I feel like you're coaching me. I feel like I'm the one that's being trained right now. And I make a joke and I'm like, you are. I'm like, you really are. Because if I can teach you how to do it and you're comfortable and confident in doing it, it's going to be so much better for your dog. Because I can tell you how to do something all day long. I can show you, but until you get used to doing it, it takes 21 days for a human to make a habit, right? Imagine how long it is for a dog. You know, you wanted them every day to be able to do something that's easy. And if I show you how to do it and you can hands-on accomplish it, I think you're going to see way more success and progress with your dogs.
I think that also goes back to the 2 minutes. Like if everybody just has a 2-minute rule.
Yeah.
Because what happens is when you skip, it's like cramming for a test.
Oh, yeah.
And now, oh, crap. Amanda's coming tomorrow. I haven't done anything. And now I'm going to practice for 45 minutes with my dog. And your dog is like tapped out after probably 10.
They give you the middle finger and they're like,
literally.
No.
So if you can just stick to 2 minutes. I even tell couples, I'll be like, you do 1 minute in the morning and you do 1 minute at night. Like everybody can do a minute of anything, right? So
but I get how they don't. Like it does. I get it. Like when I come home after work, especially because I train all day, I don't want to train my dog. I'm tired. I want to eat dinner, shower. So I get that they don't want to, or even not even that they don't want to. I think that a lot of owners don't think about it. Mm-hmm. Because until it's a part of your day-to-day and you make it a habit, you're not going to do it.
No.
Right?
Can I say I hate training my own dog at home when I get home? But I follow the rules, right? So he has a beautiful stay that I practice. I didn't do that.
Just kidding.
Also, Betty, one of my trainers, taught him canine nose work.
So good.
He's so good.
He's so good at it.
And I reap the benefits because I practice with him and he finds the things. So even as like it's kind of like homework. And I was saying this to you before. I hate homework. I hate my kids' homework. I don't believe in homework. I don't like doing it. It's like the last thing I want to do when I get home from. I want to be like, do everything in school. And if there's a problem, I'll hire a tutor. Because I have no patience for that for my own, right? Yeah. So I actually have my teaching degree in elementary education from K through 8. So I switched from kids to dogs. I had so much patience. I used to do first grade. So much patience for the little first graders. My poor son who's in second grade, if he's like loses his place, I'm like, do you need a ruler to hold under the paragraph so you don't lose I'm like yelling at him. So I get it. Like, and with our own dogs, we have that emotion.
Yeah.
But that's why I think people need to be realistic, know who you are, know the kind of dog owner you are.
Know your breed too. Yes. That's you. We should do a podcast on breeds.
We will do, yes.
Because know your breed. If you get what's the dog? Drives me nuts. The Spaniels. I think it's them.
Any Spaniel?
Kinda.
King Charles.
Not the little ones. Not the little ones, but the Britneys.
Oh.
The high energy, go, go, go. And the owners are like, why is my dog doing zoomies all over? And I'm like, well, yeah. You got a hunting style dog. They have a lot of energy. They're working dogs. And then they want them to snuggle them all day long, which it's possible, but temperament of your dog, they're just like people. Yeah. We all have different personalities, right? Yes. So it's like you can get a golden retriever, the gold, those are like their trophy dogs, right? Mm-hmm. You can get a psycho still. You can. You have to, that's why you pick your dog.
I mean, that's a good point about being compliant. If you don't have the right breed, like I'm a lazy dog owner. I don't want a border collie in my house. No offense, but there's a lot of people that like to do hiking and all this stuff with their dogs, you know, like I don't like that. So, but if you happen to get that, right, because you love the breed or whatever, you also have to know what you're getting, and that compliance is going to come in with the breed too. So we have I trained a service dog, we all know, Chapo. Suzuki, that's shout out to you.
We love you.
He's a Doberman. Mm-hmm. She probably does 4 to 5 training sessions with him daily.
Herself.
With
no trainer.
No trainer. So she also has done.
It's possible.
She also has done every group class. Yes. Every private session. Yes. Everything that she possibly can. And he flies to Mexico with her twice a year on the plane with her. And she has worked so hard to get this dog that had issues. Like, she is a compliant trainer. She brings all his goodies when, you know, he comes, and he gets the pills, he gets the keys, he does everything. But that woman, I mean, she gets a medal because she has worked with the dog that much. So I think too, just know with your dogs, if you feel like your dog is misbehaving and you can't get anywhere, I also had that in my notes, I just remembered. I did not say this. Ian Dunbar, who is a very famous trainer, behaviorist, veterinarian, he said once at a workshop as trainers, it's all trainers, and he said, if your dogs learn very quickly. If your dog is not getting something, like they're failing over and over, you need to stop and look in the mirror.
Yeah, it's trainer. That's what I learned, dolphin training. If the animal wasn't doing, the first thing that we learned was it's human error.
Yeah.
Because you're the one that needs to teach them what to do.
You're not being clear in your communication with them.
Yep.
And I think that's what dog trainers, certified dog trainers will help you do, is be able to, hey, you know why your dog's jumping? Because you're holding the treat 2 inches too high.
Right.
Like, you can see that, whereas a normal owner may not see that. So I think, go ahead.
If you're not practicing at home, just wanted to say, like, your dog, they can generalize a little bit, right? But they also are really good at discriminating. So if you're going to say, you know, my dog all the time, they work for you, they're an angel, but then they're crazy at home, they don't do anything, it's because human error. You're not following through. They're learning with mom and dad, I can jump, I can mouth, and the thing is, when you don't practice at home, you might get some other undesired behaviors from your dog. They might get frustrated because they don't understand why they're not getting the same attention in one place versus the other. Mm-hmm. Or if they're jumping at home and then they come to me for day training or private, your dog, I could potentially see them more mouthing, attention barking, because they're like, but I do this all the time. Why am I not getting the attention now? It can turn into other things too. So keep that in mind with training and not being consistent at home. It's going to be your fault if worse things start to happen.
Mm-hmm. And when you're talking about generalizing, it's funny because I come home, I do ignore my dogs. I'm just not a talker to my dogs. And by the way, dog trainers can tell if you're a talker to your dog. Every client, I'm like, do you talk a lot to your dog? They're like, yes, I do. I'm like, oh, because he's not listening to crap that you're saying because you're literally talking to him all day.
Yes.
Whereas which is fine. You talk to your dog.
I do it.
I know you do.
My dog, she's human. I have fun. I make songs up about her. We get it. We also do it. You're not wrong. We get it.
I do not. Although my husband caught me the other day. I said, I'll see you later. And he goes, who are you talking to? I go, oh, same bite of Ritz, my 14-year-old. I got caught. So yes, we do.
Isn't Ritz deaf?
He's deaf too. Recently deaf. So if I come home, I ignore my dogs. And I just do my thing. So when I come in or out, it's not this whole big, oh my God, she's here.
Yeah.
When my mother comes in, Mom, I love you. But when she comes in, when I had the 5 dogs, all right, guys. All right. Let me get you a treat. Okay, Mom, Jamie, hand me the treats. I'm like you would think, aren't you a dog trainer? And it's so crazy because it's that association. So when your dog's in school mode with us or with the trainer and they know, they're on their best behavior, but they can be on school mode with you too at home if you just like practice a little bit.
But you get a lot of clients that are going to be like, but I don't want my dog. I want my dog to just hang out with me at home. What you're going to find is if you practice at home, you're going to build trust with your dog. You're going to have clear communication with your dog, and your relationship is going to be a lot better, and you're going to be able to snuggle and do more things with them because you're going to have less time that you're dealing with those problem behaviors.
And yelling at them.
Right. You're not going to be like, get off me, right? You're going to be like, come snuggle. And they're going to want to do that. Yeah. And it's mentally stimulating for them as well to train at home too, which is going to really help you get rid of those annoying, my dog's barking all the time. Well, they're bored, So
I would say that the lesson today is that if you are a non-compliant client, that's okay.
Yes.
There's different ways that we can fix that. I think the biggest thing is even if you're hiring somebody to fix it and they're doing all the work, just follow the rules at home. Follow those little things and just know if you're consistent with not giving your dog attention for jumping, your dog is going to start being consistent and not jumping on you.
Just ask, like, what's one thing I can do each day? And your trainer's going to tell you. If you're going to utilize one thing, I'll tell you, and then do it. And it's going to help even just a little bit.
So much.
Matters,
So
right?
much.
So,
yes. Yeah. Well, Amanda, as usual, thank you again for
You're
talking to myself. We will continue with topics. I will say that if we put this like little snippet on our social media, that I would love to hear from dog owners also how long you work with your dog every day and if at all. And be honest. Could be 0, 1 time, 2 time. How many of you actually work your dog daily? I would just love to know for data purposes to see that. But thank you for coming. You can find us on Audible, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, our YouTube channel, anywhere that podcasts are played. This is Barks to Basics with Jamie Diaz, Amanda Kreiner. Thank you again.